Well, folks, we're back another week in the books and another podcast for your ears to snack on.
And I hate to let you all know, but both Pasty and Mac have got the corona.
The corona. You can keep your virus.
We got the beer.
Yes. My name is Pasty, and this is my co-host, Bidet Man.
Bidet.
He can tickle your butthole with his tongue without you ever even knowing.
You'll never even know it.
But he
just
will.
Out of nowhere. You don't know how many times I've already done it.
That's good. Good stuff. Open the fucking show with an inside joke. Enjoy.
Yeah. Way to alienate your fan base. The fuck is he talking about?
Well, I mean, we are our biggest listeners. Me and the Mac here listen to our podcast 3 times a week every week. And you all should try to mimic that lifestyle.
I think you should. Three minimum. 3 minimum. It helps keep you immune to the coronavirus. That is FDA approved.
If you're Catholic,
CDC
you already have
certified.
the training. Just anytime you'd have to do your Hail Marys, listen to Beef Sticks podcast.
I'm telling you.
Yeah,
It'll save lives, folks.
It will change your life.
Listening to Beef Stick podcast is more effective to preventing coronavirus than washing hands and wearing masks.
And drinking bleach.
I'm telling you that. It's true. It's there. It's legit.
Do you hear about that?
So just do it.
People online telling people get rid of the coronavirus if you drink bleach.
I've heard of that.
Shit.
And you just hope they do it.
Yeah.
Just hope
anybody
they do it.
who believes should.
Yeah, if you believe it, I hope you do it. Don't even look it up. Just do it. Get the fuck out of here. I got shit to do. I got so much shit to do. So much shit's more important than that. Pasty, one of the most
never have to make it onto the news.
One of the most important things in the world, though, is the WWE Slammy Awards.
Yes.
Am I right?
Yes.
It's the awards show
to the Beefies.
Yes, the awards show that we all look forward to every year, right alongside the Beefies. And that brings us to this week in pro wrestling history, because on March 1st, 1986, WWF airs the first ever Slammy Awards. Yes, the faux awards show, taped the previous December, mind you, at the Baltimore Civic Center in Baltimore, Maryland, was mainly used to promote the Wrestling album, which was a WWF musical album, which was released back in November of the previous year. Yet, time moved a lot slower back then than it does now. Much, much so, where you could have an award show in March, or you could air an award show in March that originally happened in December about an album that was released in November.
That's great.
So the winners, who were all connected to the album, so these are the winners of the very first ever Slammy Awards, folks. And if you ever wondered why they're called Slammies when they just give them to wrestlers and it's a take on the word Grammys, this is why, because it was originally named for the actual musical album. We had Best Commentator, Mean Gene Okerlund took that prize home. Best Personality in Land of a Thousand Dances video, why, that was Rowdy Roddy Piper. Best Producer was Cyndi Lauper. She earned that one for sure. Most ignominious was Nikolai Volkov. Nobody knew what ignominious was.
For him.
Yep. And Best Performer, Junkyard Dog.
That's pretty great.
So, Pasty and listeners at home, to put this in perspective, basically we are celebrating the anniversary of a 34-year-old event about a 3-month-old awards show being used to promote a 4-month-old album.
That is fantastic. And hey, folks, if you want to hear the Wrestling album, it is a part of the BSP Grapple Stock playlist on Spotify. Go check that shit out. As well as any other music made by wrestlers over the years.
Cheap plug.
Yes.
Got to get a new cheap plug.
Hey, it's expansive entertainment. That's what we're doing here. We exist.
We are expansive.
Yes. That's what you do after you hit 30, right? You just expand.
You expand, you take lots of naps, and you eat parking lot panties.
Yes. Parking lot panties. Yum, yum.
So anyway, he was like, we were driving, and I said, Bill, we pulled over to a convenience store, And I got him a book, one of these, shitty porn books.
A jacket bag.
And as he's driving, I'm saying, Bill, look at this. And he's going, oh, my God, what I would do with that. And that was also the day that we came back that night, and there were panties in the parking lot, and we only had the lights of the truck. I said, Bill, look at panties. He got out of the truck, and he walked over to it. He picked them up. He looked at them. He showed them to me in the light, and he just stuck them in his mouth and went, rah, 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 rah. I wish her pussy was attached to this. Rah, 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 rah.
My goodness.
But yeah, that's Bill.
Parking lot panties.
Parking lot panties.
They were Yokozuna's panties.
Nom, 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 nom. I love the sound effects. That's the best part. For those of you who don't know, Klondike Bill was a veteran of the ring crew of WCW NWA. He was with them for decades and decades, set up the ring, took down the ring, drove truck, set up ramps, did a little bit of everything. But one of the most perverted men in the world, and loved a glass bottom boat ride. And if you don't know what that is, folks, I dare say you should just look it up on Google, preferably on your work computer.
Yes. In front of your kids. It's family-friendly entertainment. That's what we bring to you on Beef Sticks Podcast, folks.
Yes, yes. And we got more family-friendly entertainment from the likes of All Elite Wrestling, Pasty.
Yes, we do. As AEW had debuted their Might Be WrestleMania pay-per-view, Revolution. It wasn't.
Might not be.
It wasn't.
It's not bad at all. It's a very good pay-per-view.
Yeah, it's a solid watch. A couple of lackluster matches, but what card doesn't have those? New Japan. No, it was a fun watch. I was really excited to get into it, and I enjoyed the entire time.
So did you end up watching it last week right after we recorded,
yes,
or did you wait a day or two?
As soon as we got done, I went and got myself locked in. Yes,
I watched it on Tuesday, I believe, was when I ended up watching it.
Yep. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I watched about 6 15-minute clips before it got over, and I was able to watch it in hour chunks. What? What's that mean? I don't know. Pay-per-view is weird these days.
Very weird. Very weird.
Strange.
So to start out, Pasty, we had the pre-show, of course, the buy-in, as they call it, I believe. Do they still call it the buy-in?
I think they still call it the buy-in. I didn't really catch it.
We're going to call it the buy-in, and we had a tag match. We had Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, and Penelope Ford defeating Riho and Sakazaki.
Yes. I suppose that's the way it probably should go, seeing as Riho is just the champion, and I think the ultimate goal is to get Britt Baker on the top of the mountain.
Yeah, they're pushing for her.
She's not really worth it on a microphone, so
she's got a ways to go. She definitely has more of a ways to go than
Adam Cole, baby.
No, she's not. And I expected her to be farther along by now, but that's not on her. That's on me, and it's on AEW a little bit too. They pushed her really hard when she first came in, so I think it's a little bit on her and AEW to pull back. If they push her too strong, too fast, I think it's gonna hurt her.
I wonder if she's holding herself back too, so that when her contract is up, she can just be like, "Yeah, I'm not good enough for your program," and then go to NXT. Because that's where I've seen it going the whole time.
Cole is
not going to AEW. Not when he's Triple H.
No.
Front pocket jerk boy.
Yeah, he's a main event fella in a main event company.
Yeah,
he's not going anywhere. I know what you meant.
He is to Triple H what John Cena was to Vince McMahon.
Yeah, I would say that's right.
It works because I see a lot of Triple H in Adam Cole. Then we had a tag match, seeing the Dark Order, represented by Evil Uno and Stu Grayson, defeating SoCal Uncensored. I did catch this match. I wasn't really paying attention to the match because it's the Dark Order. I just wanted to see the end. and then it never happened.
Which, yeah, after all this build about them
it makes sense,
announcing
who
the Exalted
if they were
one.
going to announce the Exalted one, it would have been on the main card, right?
Yeah, but they didn't
they
announce this as being a pre-show match, so that's what's odd.
I think they probably had to bump the match.
Well, but if you had that big reveal, why would you bump this match if you had to bump him? Something's really wonky here with this whole thing. I don't know what went on here. And even though this is on the pre-show, the whole not following through with the Exalted one thing, I'm not going to lie, left a little sour taste in my mouth for the pay-per-view as a whole.
I mean, I can't be mad at AEW with the president we have, promises like this might be our WrestleMania and we're going to show you the Exalted one. I mean,
I know, but what bothers me is this was typical Dixie Carter TNA bullshit when she was sinking TNA. And I was a huge TNA fan and she was trying her damnedest to sink it. And she'd do shit like say, I got a huge announcement coming up, and then she'd announce like, "Oh, we're changing the ring skirt on the ring," or something stupid like that. And then they'd promise, certain things, and they wouldn't follow through. The biggest one was the main event Mafia was coming back, and then it didn't come back because they didn't decide to give anybody a contract and just thought they would show up. Stupid. So that's what to me scares me about this kind of thing. It's like, yeah, those are two big Dixie Carter moves. They're two moves you just want to avoid when you're building a company, and we hope that AEW learns from this.
Well, if Matt Hardy is the one, I think the fans are willing to wait on it a little bit longer.
And I would agree. I mean, we talked a little bit about it last week.
I think that's the only thing. If it was anybody else, this would have fucking killed the whole thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody expected it. Honestly, we probably didn't need it at this pay-per-view.
Well, we didn't, and they didn't need to promote it as happening at this pay-per-view.
Yeah.
So, then we had the actual main show, and we seen Jake Hager actually defeat Dustin Rhodes, which I was hoping would happen by submission, which was surprising to me, in what I thought was a lackluster, kind of disappointing opening match, especially for an opening match. What you say, Pasty?
Alan Guevara would have been a much better opening match for the card than Hager Dustin. But I don't know. It wasn't the worst thing ever, and it was nice to see Hager in action in AEW finally. They've been building it up for a long time. So for him to win by submission makes it all the more better, I think.
And it was good that he won by submission, but after a low blow. So it did keep a little bit of the dirtiness in there.
Well, you got to tie in that MMA, shit. Too.
Yeah, MMA or low blow, guys. We know that.
Well, no, he remember that match he won? It was like almost strictly low blows with the knee.
It was exactly. He got it thrown out.
Yeah,
because of too many low blows. So no, it was a good callback.
That's his gimmick. Not talking and low blows is the Jake Hager gimmick.
It was a clunky match. Sometimes they seemed like it was intense, and they seemed like they were where they were going, and then it was almost like they tripped up and fell back. The storytelling was good. Dustin Rhodes, I'm going to skip over what mostly I wrote in my notes, and I'm just going to say the last thing I wrote in my notes. Hager will never be more than a mid-card talent, but Dustin definitely carried him through a decent match.
Yeah, so, and the thing is, Hager could have a chance in AEW with being one of the bigger guys, but now they're bringing in other bigger guys. And
I don't think he's
not going to be able to swim with them.
No, he won't. He's made to be a mid-card guy, and that's not a bad thing. His in-ring work, despite his showing on this pay-per-view, which wasn't really great, is great. I mean, He has great in-ring work. He's not a talker. He's not a storyteller in the ring. He's not charismatic. He just doesn't – he's just missing that one thing, and that's okay. As long as we realize that's where he's going to be.
Yeah, and, I envision even if there is some kind of implosion in the inner circle, I feel like Hager's going to continue to be Jericho's
stick with
security.
Jericho. Yeah. Exactly. I would say the same thing.
Whereas he never has to be a front line player.
He would be a good Curtis Hughes. And this is kind of going back to the 90s here, folks. Yes. So some of you younger folks might not remember, but Curtis Hughes was the big, burly bouncer who would He was part of the NWO. He worked with Jeff Jarrett. He worked with Triple H. He worked with DX. He was mostly a bodyguard who would wrestle a match from time to time, but he wasn't a good wrestler. He could hold his own, but he wasn't a good wrestler. He couldn't talk. But man, you threw a suit on him and a pair of shades, and he was intimidating, you know?